Hey folks, this is Brian. We got to play last night and it was a great session. I had so much fun. We had all, five or four? One, Bruce, Isaac, Michael. I'm going to feel bad, I forgot your name. Trenton, there we go. It's four. And all four players. And we had just one minor tech glitch at the end of the session. We lost Bruce for a minute or two. It wasn't anything. And then he got right back on. And if you check out the live play, which is in the description, you'll see how that all occurred. Nothing at all, really. But it was a great session. I thought everybody did a decent job. Oh, we all had a decent job of making sure everybody was involved. I don't think anybody necessarily felt left out, but I wasn't really, watching for that this session. Maybe I was just, I don't know, wasn't thinking about it. Anyway, I think that everybody did seem to have a good time. There were some Facebook messages afterwards about great game, that kind of stuff, and everybody seemed to have a decent amount of interaction with the other PCs. And towards the end with the NPCs, it was kind of hard to do because trolls speak dark speech and nobody here speaks dark speech. And that's something I'll talk about in a second too. But in almost 3 hours, and I didn't even notice the time until it was after 11. So I was very, very pleased with this session in total. And then this actually is the final session for Chapter 2, which is Session 8, Session 12 overall of my Chronicles of Careen campaign. But it's a change of Chapter 2, which is a troll raid. Okay. A bit about my chapter stuff. I know I've mentioned this in previous ones, but when I designed the campaign, it was 3 basic chapters, and then there came, and from that developed a 4th capstone adventure as well. So 4 chapters were originally designed. We went through Chapter 1, a baboon hunt, fairly quickly. And so I started thinking maybe I'll invent some scenarios so we have something going on each season, which is kind of how RQG is designed. It's a seasonal play. During the season you have a chance of adventuring, as long as it's not more than just a week or two, because you do your regular job. You're part of a community. You have a society and a position, and you got responsibilities, right? And then at the end of the game session, you do a end of season session where you get skills from doing your job every day and all that kind of stuff. And then we go on to the next season, and depending upon when the adventure occurs, the beginning or the end, you can do the season phase, before or after the adventure. But this troll raid thing took so freaking long that I became very concerned, because the next chapter, which I haven't named for yet, is going to happen again during Earth season, which is when the first chapter, the baboon hunt, happened. It was during Earth season, which was the Trade Time Festival at the Sentinel Temple. And then, the next one's going to happen during Earth season as well. So if I try to start plugging in, they'll never get this campaign finished. So I pretty much decided, okay, this is the last filler adventure we're going to do. And it was actually very nice that it fit plugging into the adventure overall pretty well, keeping the PCs involved with the responsibility. It's Bruce's sister-in-law who's gone, that kind of thing. So, or Lars' sister-in-law who's gone. So the next session, well, we actually have some encounters, because they're going to take Indresu home, right back to Clearwine. I'm not going to worry about Johnstown. So there's some possible encounters on the way home, and in fact there is an encounter the next morning. Oh, where are these chaos creatures keep coming from? So the next session, after we get her home, which will take part of the next session, and possibly the entire next session, I don't know. We'll just go ahead and do, my plan is, go ahead and do Storm Season, do Sacred Time, do... Is it Earth? No, it's not Earth. Maybe it is Fire Season. And then back around to Earth. See, there might be a season in there in between. I'm not that... I don't have the calendar memorized. I just know basically how it works. But I do print them out month by month because I've been keeping track of how we've been going through dark season. Especially these travel times. Okay, so it's winter time, traveling on side roads or through the wilderness. It takes forever to get anywhere. It really surprised me that it would take it was like 12 days from Johnstown to Clearwine on the road. So I may investigate that a little further. I know for Gen Con, for Origins, well, Gen Con 2, but for Origins, I'm running a campaign that's a one-shot, where the party's like a day's ride out from Clearwine, I think, and where this thing's supposed to occur, but this thing that's supposed to occur is further from the map than I'm familiar with, and so I'm wondering where's time distance factors involved, and yeah, who knows. So anyway, back to the story. So when we last left the party, they were fleeing the cave down the ravine to get out of there. Colin, the Asari's noble and the titular head of the party, got wiped. I think it was his arm. He was losing his arm, and so they're dragging him out. They did stop the bleeding when another cave troll comes out. Now, I think cave trolls are what, 3d6 plus 6 on size, so they average 16, but they can get pretty big. This guy is a size 18, and there's another troll in the caverns that's at least size 20. So when I first said, this cave troll, I had this huge figure. I stole a bunch of Pathfinder and D&D figures that I use. Came out, and they were freaking out and go, well, he's not, that big. I mean, he's big, but he's not that big, right? But, he says 18. He's actually pretty big. And he's a Zong the Hunter initiate. Actually, God Talker. And so he throws a sure shot. He's going to take one of these guys out. Well, I give them a chance to react. He's out. They try to communicate. He yells something out of them. They don't understand what it is. They turn around and say, "Where's Udresu?" He doesn't understand. So he starts to swing up his sling to let it rip these guys. His plan, he's got sure shot. So he's going to sure shot these guys in the head every single round. And sure shot means you automatically hit, which means you automatically miss. You only miss if you roll a 96 or above, which is a miss all the time. And so he's just going to do a headshot, which is half percent, but still, he's got that 95% still. So they turn. Somebody does a heal on themselves. Not Veron. It's the other hunter. Hearth turns. He's going to shoot. And I previously had not been using the hunter's shadow cats. One, because I didn't want to bother with tracking all this other stuff. And two, we've only had an actual player for the hunter like one other session, the previous session. So, but I knew this troll was coming out, and I know what he can do and what his plan is, and I don't want to TPK the party, so I went ahead and let the hunters have their shadow cats. So Hearth turns to shoot. He does a speed art on his arrow. He sends his shadow cat out. Lars drops Colin down and readies his shield and sword. And then Who else do we have? Oh, the shaman. Shaman's going to do the healing stuff, right? The shadow cat tears after the dark troll, jumps up, misses his bite, but he gets both of his claws, and both of his claws are specials, and they both hit his head. A 19 and a 20. 2d6. 2d6. And this troll, unfortunately, even though he's pretty decent size, his constitution is not that great. So, just from the 2 claws, he went down. His head is negative. His hit points went to -2. I did forget to put the damage modifier of -1d4 on those claw attacks. I did catch it for the other ones, but I forgot for that one. But anyway, he's down. Everybody else comes running up. The shadow cat starts ripping. And I'm just thinking, we gotta keep him alive so we can question him. No, this guy is dead. They don't know that yet, though. And Faran moved up too. And Faran went to the edge of the cave. So I had guys make a couple of listen scan rolls. They missed, but Faran kind of peeks into the cavern. And I mean, it's dark now. I mean, it's almost sunset, and they're in a ravine, and he's looking into a cave. But he sees some movement. The Trollkin and the other troll that was in there that went down with his leg, I forgot. He's got rune magic, and so he did a heal wounds on him. So he's up now. But they both split after they saw it was Big Club, the male head of the clan, right? Just go down. Okay, game's up. Let's see if we can get everybody else up, right? And so they take off down the tunnel, and he sees movement going, down the tunnel. He eventually comes in. The other goblin had taken off as well. And then the large start getting worried. Okay, if people have taken off, they're going to get reinforcements. They're going to come out and tear us apart. Let's get out of here. So Faran comes back out. They all get together. At that point, I think they did the heal 6 on Colin to save his arm. And then they go up. They decided to go opposite to where they had been before, so they went south. And they about an hour, and then they went east into the woods, and then they're going to set up a little camp. They set up watches. I know that you're worried if people are just walking by on the trail, but the idea is if somebody goes on the trail, they went down, went to the woods, and then came back or went further north, so they could, if somebody's following their trail, they'll see them walk by. That's the idea, right? So if somebody walks by, it's fine. But if they come back into the woods, like they're actually following them, then everybody needs to get, woken up. Or if anything unusual happens, obviously wake everybody up. They roll out their who's got which watch, that kind of stuff. And on watch number 6 is when there's an encounter with the trolls. And I got the trolls working with different search parties, and I rolled, and it was the same search party that was in the cave. The 2 trollkin and the troll that got hit in the leg. But he's healed up, and the trollkin are fine. But the 2 beetles are dead. And so they're coming through, but they're in the woods. They're looking for the party. And so the party decides to set up a little counter ambush. Now this dark troll is a Zarak initiate, so he doesn't have any stealth, right? The goblins are actually fairly good at being stealthy, but they're just walking back and forth, kind of sweeping. And it's not like they're being noisy trying to flush them out. They're looking for them, right? And then the dark trolls just kind of move into the middle. So they're coming forward. The party moves the hunters and their shadow cats out, and then the rest of the party moves forward, except for Colin and the shaman, because they're kind of in the back trying to heal. But they wait for the dark troll to get within range to where if the entire party moves forward and still has time to attack, they'll be able to attack him. The brain's pretty quick. They can figure that stuff out. So That's not an issue. At that point, the hunters and the shadow cats do their thing. One hunter shoots at the dark troll, the other hunter shoots at his trollkin. The shadow cats both go through the trollkin. One trollkin, after a couple, and then everybody else moves up onto the troll. The Machti actually goes last. Well, not last. The troll goes last. But so reverse order: troll, Machti, and then Lars and Ferran both go at the same time. So Lars and Ferran attack. I want to say only one of them hit. Didn't get through his arm. This guy's wearing light scale and stuff, and Kerbal. Then Machti goes, and she gets a special on his arm and takes it off. Schwack. Yeah, she rolled a not 5. So if she would have done her blade sharp, that might have been a crit. But she didn't. She didn't put 2 points of protection on, but she was getting a little worried. And took his arm off. He goes down. He's unconscious. One trollkin is dead. The other trollkin takes off. Shoutcats gets a swipe at him, but doesn't do any damage. So the party does a heal 2 on the troll to keep him from dying. They keep his arm with them. They tie him up. They try to communicate with him. Start drawing, stick figures on the ground, a female figure, and the cave, and they're pointing at it. And I've got this way where if I don't know exactly what the troll or the NPC is thinking, or his plan, or the way he would react, I do a random thing where I roll 3d6 to determine what the difficulty factor is, and then the d20 to see how he reacts, right? And so if you roll high in your difficulty factor, this is reverse. It's from Fancy Trip. If you roll high in your difficulty factor, it actually means it's low. So because you want to roll below it, so it's pretty easy to he's going to be cooperative. If the difficulty factor is low, then you have to roll below it, and it's harder to do. So odds are he's not going to be cooperative. That's how I do it. So the troll is actually cooperative, and I make a communication roll, and he kind of figures out. He knows about the female human who's been captured. She's a slave in the kitchen. He knows her, and these are humans. They're looking for a female. So he goes, yeah. One arm's gone. Yeah. So they healed him up so he can communicate. So he's positive hit points. He's not feeling too great though. They take his arm, and they go back to the ravine. Now, when they get to the ravine, there is a trollkin up on top of the bridge, looking around. He is actively looking around. He's waiting for somebody to show up. When they get there, he speaks trade talk very well, and Colin also speaks trade talk very well, and so they're able to communicate with no issues. And the trollkin tells them that the new priestess, his mistress, wants something that the party has taken, and she's willing to discuss terms. So after some communication back and forth, they follow him down into the ravine. Down at the bottom of the ravine are two female trolls. And the trollkin goes up to one of them, speaks with her, and then the party's kind of, okay, what is it that we taken that they want? Because they didn't really remember taking much. There was the belt with the spell matrix on it, but there was also the amulet that they got from the priestess, the one they killed. The first troll they killed. So that's what she wants. She wants the amulet. And Lars says, okay, we'll give you the amulet. That's okay. But I want my sister-in-law. Is she here? And yes, she's here. Would you like to see her? And yes, I want to see her. I want her back. And so she sends a trollkin. There's trollkin inside the cave to go get her. So she comes out, She's obviously in shock. She's been captured by trolls, tormented, not physically beaten or molested or anything, because she's a slave kitchen slave. Kitchen slave, not slave kitchen. Okay, so they bring her out, and Lars is more than happy to make that trade. So they make the trade, check her out, make sure she's okay. They talk to her a little bit, and then somebody brings up the book, and I had to make a roll to see if she knew about the book, because the only one, because Big Club took the book. Big Club has the book, but Big Club is dead. So is the priestess. She's dead too. So the only two people who knew about what happened that night are dead. But they keep asking questions, and I keep rolling, and she keeps rolling really low. So she's being very cooperative with what's going on. Probably because she really wants that amulet. So they get undressed. They get the girl back. They get the book back. She doesn't really have any things. Because Lars wanted to make sure she got all of her stuff, that kind of thing. And then they part ways. The party goes up, goes about an hour out, goes off, makes a camp, and then they're discussing stuff and things happening and deals. They rest for the rest of the night because it's like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. And the sun doesn't come up until 6. So they rest, and then the next morning they're going to get up, and they're going to travel right to Clearwine. So that night, as they're making camp and getting ready to rest, or all discussing about things and trying to figure out, why did the troll take the book? Why did the troll take Indresu? What's in this book that's so important? They decide that they're not going to return the book to Johnstown yet, because they're not going to Johnstown. She doesn't need to go to Johnstown. She doesn't want to go. She wants to go home. And so that's their plan. So there's some discussion about what is going on with this book, why they want it, and if the trolls still have the book, are whoever wants it coming for it? That kind of stuff has been going on. The discussions going on. At that point, it was getting close to almost 11:30, if I remember right, and so we close up essentially at that point. So all in all, there was a couple of combats. Went pretty quick. Now with all 4 players, before the party left to go, after they killed Big Club, the party's ready to leave. They decided to go look for Sabatai, the other hunter, and the Legia, the Hamakti, who had suffered from the demoralizing and had run the opposite direction. They had run southwest down the ravine, away from the bridge. So they go down. Now, time had been taken off. It lasts for 10 rounds. And it turns out, I had to actually go back and watch the video again to find out when did these guys actually get demoralized and how many rounds went by since then. But Sabatai was demoralized 4 rounds before Delagia. And a few rounds went by during the actual combat, then another 2 rounds, and then the couple of rounds it took for these guys. So the demoralization ended, and so these guys are actually coming back. And so they meet up fairly quickly. First with Sabatai, and then with Delagia. So they got everybody together, and then they go up. And so the whole full party, right? 2 Shadow Cats, 1, 2, 3, 4 full functioning PCs and 1 functioning NPC. Yeah, that's a pretty sized party. And I designed my world around the size of the party. So if the party is, a D6 worth of people, then the standard encounter is a D6 worth of creatures, right? But we're at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So maybe I should have my creatures to 2d6. We'll see about that. Well, anyway, happy gaming.